didn't know about the story prior, that it was a true story prior to this?
I grew up in the East Coast, so I wasn't here when the actual murder happened. I didn't know about the case. And I received the script and sat down and read it right away and didn't realize that it was based on real events. And I was really, really shocked and heartbroken when I did find out. I'm still really shocked by it, actually. And the more research I did, the more horrified I was that these are people, you know, like anyone else. And I think that the fact that they grew up in these very safe communities with all opportunities, with the best education, they were all white, they all had picket fences in front of their house, that it makes it even more shocking. And I think the point of this film is to say that it's a lack of guidance in parenting that forces people to lose their identity and do things they would never do in their right mind. And I think that's the case in a lot of murders, a lot of mistakes, either by, you know, entire countries or by individuals. So I think that it's an amazing, amazing story.
You know, when you hear about the story, though, it seems like it would be very tough to care about these kids. But is it?
We didn't set out to make these kids likable. That was a big point. We didn't want to make them your best friend. We didn't want you to empathize too much with them that we were justifying anything they did. We just wanted you to recognize that they were humans and that it is a human mistake. And that we all recognize that once you get into that sort of groupthink mentality, you lose your identity and you lose your wits about you to do something, stand up and do something. I think what you end up with at the end of the film is a realization that if you see something happening, if you witness something happening, whether it's amongst your friends or in your country or this world, that you have to stand up and do something, because I think in this case it was 38 witnesses that did absolutely nothing, and that's heartbreaking to me, and this murder did not have to happen. And it doesn't just happen in the inner cities. It obviously happens in situations like Columbine and situations like this. So it's important for people to be aware of it and to understand what leads up to these things.
It sounds like you actually did do a lot of research for this. What did you do?
We read a lot of transcripts. We watched a lot of video. We researched the case to no end. We asked a lot of questions. Nick Cassavetes had obviously done 10 times more research than us already, so it was a lot of just asking him, what happened when you interviewed these people? What did she say? What was her reaction to the idea of a film? How did she tell her own story? And that's obviously how you assume that character, by understanding how we tell our own stories. No one thinks of themselves as a villain. Everyone justifies everything they do. So it was a process of understanding how they all justified their actions.
Well, what did she think about the idea of a film?
My character was actually really unhappy. I'm very different from her because I think she wasn't comfortable with us completely mimicking her, and that made it kind of interesting. I think Justin's here. Interesting because we had to reinterpret her in order to stay within the bindings that we had as far as making a film out of a real situation. And I think that was fun to reinterpret her, but to keep the real sense of who she is and her justifications, like I said. So it was fun.